Mentors can be of great importance when it comes to professional and personal life. A mentor could be your primary school teacher, your parent, a personal trainer you pay for. It could be either free or it could be paid. Paid business mentor could, for instance, also be a mentor. Mentorships can therefore be fairly cheap or even for free and very expensive when you have like a paid business mentor. In my opinion, one of the greatest investments you can make when it comes to finding mentors are books. Books about very successful people. Autobiographies, biographies, something you can study the life of successful people with. For 20 years you can have a book about Elon Musk, one of the greatest inventors of this age, a book about Phil Knight, the person who set up Nike, or a book about Steve Jobs, one of the most creative minds, in my opinion, of the past few decades. Reading books about those people can teach you many lessons for very little money. In this video, I will talk about the lessons I learned from one of those successful guys. This one over here, Steve Jobs. I never really knew about Steve Jobs. I've always been kind of a fan of Elon Musk, if I have to admit. And Steve Jobs is kind of before my time, as in Apple started a little before I was born. I was born in 2001. And I'd heard of him, but I've never really studied him. And he's actually a really crazy person, but crazy in a good way. And I've learned so many lessons, and it was such a good book. So before I go into this video, I really recommend you buying this book, getting a book for yourself and reading it, because it's been written very well about a very cool and interesting person. So pick up your book now. It's a really good read, and then we'll go into this video. I will explain the lessons I learned by quotes I found in this book. This can either be quotes from Steve Jobs himself, or from people around him, or from the author about him. The first lesson from Steve Jobs is find something you love, find a passion, because if you find that passion you can go all in, and then you can really give yourself all to it, and it won't feel like a job, and you can really contribute and serve the people around you, serve the world by putting effort into your own passion. So I'll read aloud some quotes. You should never start a company with the goal of getting rich. Your goal should be making something you believe in and making a company that will last. I think this is really cool because in this day and age, a lot of people are doing these tech startups to just build them really quickly and then sell. I think that's crazy. It's sort of the opposite of what we want. We don't want to start consuming more and more. We actually want to create more quality and serve the world instead of just making money to make money. I don't think that's the right mindset, and also not the right mindset to really build a company. Maybe like fast, quick money, but not to really have a good basis of a company. Then the second quote, if you don't love something, you're not going to go the extra mile. Work the extra weekend, challenge the status quo so much. Yeah, this sort of goes in the same way, saying that if you don't love something, you can't go all in. For instance, when it comes to finding the right major for you, my brother was studying physics and he thought he really liked it. But apparently he didn't, and then he couldn't pass his classes, he couldn't get his credits. So now he's doing another major and he's really liking it better. It's really something he loves, and then you can actually go that extra mile. Then the last one, which is sort of what I already talked about, I hate it when people call themselves entrepreneurs when what they're really trying to do is launch a startup and then sell or go public so they can cash in and move on. I think that's the best quotes for right now. So many people are doing this and it's just crazy. In one way it seems interesting because business-wise and marketing-wise it's pretty cool to be able to get a lot of funds, get a lot of money, and then build something that people seem to like and sell it. It's in a way a cool concept, but not something that I would want to be a part of because it's more about you than actually making a product that serves others. Then we will go into number 2, which is meditation. Steve Jobs was a really cool guy. He meditated. He had these crazy things from his teens on. He did also a lot of weird things with food, so he was like a vegan. I'm also partially vegan, but he was hardcore vegan. He only ate like raw fruits and vegetables. It's really hard to go to restaurants with him. It's really funny, you can read about it in the book. But he also meditated, and at an early age he also went to Asia to like learn from people who are actually really into this and into meditation. But he also used meditation in his work. One of his quotes is, "Intuition is a very powerful thing, more powerful than intellect." And intuition is something he says you get when you meditate. You have to get to know your own brain in a way and have to know your thoughts by meditation. It's something I've tried and I really want to continue to try, because I think meditation in this crazy world can really help you to slow down and get to know yourself and get to really be in your own brain instead of being sort of outside of yourself. So really to step back into your own body. And then he also says your mind just slows down and you see a tremendous expanse in the moment. You see so much more than you could see before. It's a discipline. You have to practice it. So, as he says, you have to practice it to really be able to slow down, live in the moment, and try to meditate. So I might do like a challenge and make a video later, like 30 days of meditation, and see if I can really get into it, because I think it should really be a habit, something you do every day. And I also think you shouldn't try to be perfect, but just practice it. You won't be able to do it in one go. Then something else I learned from him is to do the impossible. This guy is really all about doing the impossible. I know that was this one thing about, I think, the sub-0 mile, where no one could break the 4-minute mile, so no one could run a mile in under 4 minutes. And then this one person broke it, and then multiple people started to break it. So it was like a mindset thing. This guy, Steve Jobs, I'm constantly tapping the book, he really believed in doing the impossible. He really believed that nothing is impossible. So this is also something he brought into Apple and all the other companies like Picture and Next, to really get that mindset onto his employees. And just say, you are going to do this, whether you like it or not, it's possible, make it happen. So this is something the author wrote. Jobs came to believe that he could impart that feeling of confidence to others and to push them to do things they hadn't thought possible. This is something I think you as a person could really do. Just believe in the impossible, because it doesn't make sense to just say no when you haven't tried. We put these limits on ourselves and on capabilities of a team. And with this mindset, also team-wise and leadership-wise, I think it can really help put step forward. And then this one quote, I think it was from one of his employees, who told Jobs it wouldn't be possible, and Jobs said, I already did it, it will be possible. And then this employee said, because I didn't know it couldn't be done, I was unable to do it. It's a bit about what I talked about earlier, about how if you don't know that there exists a limit, it's easier to break the limit. And of course the famous quote, because the people who are crazy enough they can change the world are the ones who do. I think this is, I'm really I like quotes, and I think this is a really good one. I think this mindset can change the world. This is a mindset, for instance, Elon Musk has as well. He just does it. He just goes all in and goes for it. And I think that's something you can do, like in the small details, like trying to do meditation and just go for it, or in the big projects, or inventing something, or starting a business, or whatever. It's really a mindset you can use in your day-to-day life. Then this one, don't hold on to the past. I will go straight in the quote. If you want to live your life in a creative way as an artist, you have to not look back too much. You have to be willing to take whatever you've done and whoever you were and throw them away. This is in a way important, because I think sometimes we hold on to the past, which can really hold us back. We have this identity. For instance, I played a lot of soccer. I was always, hi, my name's Lisa and I play soccer. And then I quit playing soccer. Who am I now? And I was still trying to hold on that soccer. And then it's difficult to move on, to set that next step. And when it comes to creative work, project work in a business, setting a step from that past, that was serious listening to me, but setting a step away from that past and setting that new step without thinking about that past can really help you. Steve Jobs also was a minimalist. He, for instance, did not even have a couch, because first of all, he was a perfectionist, so he couldn't decide on what couch to use, and second of all, he didn't need much stuff. Sometimes he even was walking barefoot. Here are some of his quotes. Products have an essence. So in this way he used minimalism, definitely also on Apple. I think you can see that in all the products. He brought things down to its core, to the essence of the product. And I think that's really important in this world, and because we have so many little things, also always extra little technological products that we might be able to use, but he was really like, let's bring this product back to its essence, and I think that's really beautiful. This one is interesting. Nature loves simplicity and unity. Here he believed that nature was already simple and united, and he wanted to build upon that with his product, which I thought was a nice way of thinking about it. And then lastly, simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. It's also something you can think about and really brings his minimalism to the front. Then this one was really interesting. Meet with others to boost your creativity. He actually, here's a quote from the book. Creativity comes from spontaneous meetings, from random discussions. You run into someone, you ask what they're doing, you say, wow, and soon you're cooking up all sorts of ideas. So Steve Jobs actually built the offices in such a way that there was, for instance, one bathroom. So everyone had to walk to that bathroom, and that way you had more time walking and more chances of meeting other people, which would lead to conversations and more creativity, in his opinion. And when they actually restructured the whole office, no, not everyone was very keen on it because they had to walk like 10 minutes to the bathroom, but more people actually saw the benefit of it. People started to have these conversations. So building these offices really helped people to get into conversations and talk about products and combining efforts and coming up with new ideas. And I think this can also be very interesting when it comes to your personal life. In my opinion, it would be very cool to live in a very big city. So, for instance, in New York, because you'll be able to meet more and more people and share ideas. This is also, I think, one of the important things about education, which was less of a thing this past year with COVID. But being on a campus, being able to meet people, speak with other students, professors, it's actually the way you boost your own education, your own mind, but also come up with ideas with each other. This is one of the greatest forms of education, in my opinion. And that was funny that I saw that in this book and that Steve Jobs actually built the offices on this idea. Then, change does not come easy. And then this quote, polite and velvety leaders who take care to avoid brushing others are generally not as effective at forcing change. This is actually one of the last notes from the author himself. Steve Jobs apparently wasn't the nicest guy to be around. He was very direct and harsh and would fire people who didn't do their job and would just be very, he would try to push his mind and idea this to everyone. So he had this way of working, this crazy way of working a lot of hours, and he expected the same from others. I actually also read this in Elon Musk's book. He's also very harsh and would just fire random people because they didn't do the way he expected them to work. So in that way, really leaders that will change the world are usually ones that are harsh. But that's just the truth. With soft talk and with soft, very diplomatic conversations, you won't be able to get there. At least that's what I think, and Steve Jobs thought the same thing. Then, share and pass on. And with this final quote, it's strange to think you can accumulate all this experience and maybe a little wisdom, and it just goes away. So I really want to believe that something survives, that maybe your consciousness survives. I think this is really fun, because this is why I make these videos. It's to share your knowledge, and you might not feel like you have a lot of knowledge. Steve Jobs, of course, created great products, and they will never really be wiped off history. I think he made a dent in the universe, as he says. He will always want to put a dent in the universe. So his legacy will never go away. But when it comes to maybe the smaller people in this world, you and I, who haven't invented something like Apple yet. It's nice to share information, to share your knowledge. I've been reading a lot of books, and I like to share the knowledge I gain from that. And I think that's very important, to pass on information in different ways. First of all, so you can meet other people that have maybe the same ideas, something to talk about. That's why we have that's not why, but that's really handy that we have the internet, because it's so much easier to get to know people who have the same ideas or maybe different ideas, but some people you can talk about it. And in order to do that, in order to be able to do that, you need to share your ideas, put yourself out there, share your work. So that's why I thought it was an interesting quote for me and a lesson I learned from him. So honestly, I hope I've convinced you to read this book, because it really inspired me. And it's just really an extraordinary person. And that's one of my quotes. That's what my YouTube is about. Be extraordinary, live an extraordinary life. And I think this guy here definitely did that. So I really recommend reading the book. And I hope you like this video. If so, leave a like, let me know, and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. And hope to see you next time then. Bye bye.